And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first cast of myself, Clutch, and my buddy Omerta. We're going to start off this wonderful match between Thorzain and LiquidRet. And the countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, play. And here we go.
So it looks like we've got Mouse Thorzain spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Typhon Peaks as the red Terran, and his opponent LiquidRet, the blue Zerg, spawning in the bottom left corner.
LiquidRet was the highest seeded player at the end of MLG Columbus, performing very well. I believe he was rank 7, but I'll have to double check this.
Yeah, he finished 7th.
Right on. Right on. Thorzain, this is a player I definitely want to watch for the rest of the MLG season. He did an incredible job at the tournament, and to get a shout out from MMA during his victory interview, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, MMA was talking about how Thorzain could be a player that could come over and compete in GSL and maybe even win Code S. So to get, you know, those kind of props from the player who wins MLG Columbus, just basically came out and dominated the whole field. That's a pretty big deal, and I agree with him. I think Thorzain is the best Terran player outside of Korea right now. You know, he won the TSL 3 back a couple of weeks ago against Naniwa in the finals, and he's just performing super, super well in pretty much every tournament he's entered. And the 9th place finish he took at Columbus kind of speaks to that.
Yeah, exactly. And with the Korean domination that happened in MLG Columbus, I'm sure hopefully more of the North American and European players can have the same battle study or battle focus that Thorzain did. The Koreans definitely spent time going over replays and deciding what they would need to do to win their matches, and that kind of professionalism and dedication is in the North American and European realm as well, but I believe that now there is even a greater inspiration for those players to focus on for the next matches.
Yeah, for sure. And we see here LiquidRet throwing down a really fast hatchery, getting his hatchery on 15, followed up by the spawning pool. Just now getting his gas as well. Thorzain just with the 1 barracks and no gas just yet. It looks like he's going to be saving up for a really fast command center here.
Oh, looks like we have a bit of lag on the game. I think it's me. No, something happened. There we go.
Are you a little bit behind me there?
I am. For some reason, there was a stoppage on the screen. I'm at 322 right now.
Okay, I'll pause. Let me know when you get to 343.
All right.
Cool.
All right, it's another 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool.
Cool, cool. Thank you very much.
Yep.
That was not planned at all. Okay, command center coming up for Thorzain. Looks like he's going for his expansion as well. It's very key for Terrans to scout out what the Zerg are doing. Typically, Zergs will use their natural to expand quickly in a game, and they have that advantage of the economy. And their hatcheries, of course, are only 300 minerals, where for the Terran, the command center is 400. But it looks like Thorzain is sending out some Marine units to check out what's going on in the map.
Yeah, and at the very least, you know, Rhett's going to see this with these 2 Zerglings out here at the Watchtower. It's going to force him to probably make a few more Zerglings. So you never want to let a Zerg player just feel completely safe and drone up for free. So, you know, those Marines will put a little bit of pressure on Rhett, but he is getting that Zergling speed and continuing to mine gas. Usually you'll see Zerg players pull the guys out of gas as soon as that speed upgrade starts, but looks like these 4 Marines are just going to see that queen and run on back home.
Looks like LiquidRet has an Overlord at the bottom of the map. Another advantage of the Zerg is the ability to access different key spots of the map to find out what their enemy is doing. But also a drawback is once the opposite force finds that Overlord and is able to take it out, they will lose their supply. So it's watching July's games, or I believe it was July, but the Korean players space out their overlords was a definite benefit for map control.
Yeah, and that's like the trademark of any good Zerg player. You'll notice especially Idra out of America. We do have a little engagement here. Some speed Zerglings running in to try and take down these Marines of Thorzain, but the Marines are going to do quite a bit of damage to those Lings. Looks like they're going to continue to press into the natural expansion, forcing Rhett to even throw down a Spine Crawler to try and defend against this really small push.
Oh, and the Spine Crawler is canceled out at the front. Great microing by Thorzain, and he returns his Marines back to his base. I'm sure they're high-fiving on the way back.
Yeah.
Job well done.
And, it's a really good idea there by Thorzain. He kills all those Zerglings, just pushes up, doesn't commit all the way, force Rhett to make 12 Zerglings there instead of drones, which I'm sure he would have liked to be making, but another engagement here in between the two bases. This time, doesn't look like Thorzain's Marines are going to be able to make it out of there.
Oh, and the Marines go down.
Yeah, and I noted earlier, I saw that that Rhett was continuing to mine that gas. He got a super fast layer, and his Spire is actually almost halfway done already. So these are going to be extremely fast Mutalisks coming out from Rhett. We're going to have to see if Thorzain's going to have an engineering bay down in time. Doesn't look like we've had one started yet. But in the meantime, he is getting that Blue Flame upgrade and pumping out some Hellions. So a strong Marine Hellion push might be able to do a little bit of damage against this Zergling and Mutalisk build from Rhett.
Definitely. The great advantage of the Hellfire upgrade to the Hellions definitely increases the damage against those light units. But it does take great practice with the microing of the Marines and the Hellfires to do the maximum damage they want to do, since the Hellions are not the strongest unit within the Terran army. Looks like
definitely not.
Thorzain is dropping 2 barracks and a starport at the front of his base, creating another wall to stop any movements of those Zerglings coming in. And he is assaulting the Zerg base, trying to get that Queen with his Blue Flame Hellions, and the Queen is toast. Thorzain just wrecks right through the Zerglings, and he's ready to stand out and get those Ring Tumors.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Rhett right now. He's only got 7 Mutalisks out on, or 7 Zerglings, I should say, and 5 Mutalisks out on the field. We saw him taking that very fast third base as the Spire came up. Nice wall off at the ramp throw with his Queens to prevent those Hellions from getting into the base. So looks like these Mutalisks are just going to be able to clean up these Blue Flame Hellions pretty easily.
The Blue Flame Hellions are staying just outside of the Zerg creep, trying to stay active with the Zerg pressure as the Mutalisks are sent out to do some scouting of their own to see what is going on at Thorzain's base. Sees the barracks of the starport up front. Not enough Marines to counter those Mutalisks. The Mutalisks are going to move in and try to do some damage to Thorzain's forces.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to... The great thing about Mutalisks is you just pick apart any weak spot of your opponent. They can fly and they're fast, so anywhere your opponent is undefended... Actually, that first medevac from Thorzain looks like it's going to get picked off, and that is a huge deal. Never want to lose an expensive unit like those medevacs. Few Stim Marines are going to chase these mutas off, but the mutas are just going to continue to fly around, poke around any area that's not defended by turrets or Marines. Those mutas are going to try and do as much damage as they can. But we also have a bunch of Blue Flame Hellions in the natural of expansion. Barely missed that. I think it was a drop that might have come out. I couldn't see if they just ran in there, but some Blue Flame Hellions doing some damage to Rhett's natural expansion.
Ooh. And that's what keeping those blue Hellions engaged in the matches allows them to add that extra pressure on the Zerg expansion that LiquidRet was trying to put down. And the Mutalisks are hitting the back of Thorzain's base. That supply depot goes down. And here they come, assaulting the economy of Thorzain, but his one turret is keeping him at bay for a little while some Marines are being sent in from the north, and the Mutalisks are heading back.
Yeah, good control there by Rhett, focusing down those the SCVs that were mining gas, and as you can see, Thorzain has not yet put the guys back on gas. Good tip for you guys out there, whenever you're doing some kind of harassment with like Phoenix or Mutalisks, always target those gas drones. Sometimes your opponent will just forget to put those guys back in, and it really slows them down. And now the Mutalisks again starting to hammer away at that starport at the front of the base. Gonna lift up a barracks there, sim the Marines, and chase those off, and it looks like he's gonna get a repair. on that start port before taking too much damage.
Oh, the wonderful usage of the Mutalisk is their speed and the ability to fly, so they can bounce around between the different areas of the base and continue to assault the economy of Thorzain.
Yeah, and Rhett's just doing a great job of not letting his Mutalisk take any hits so far. We've only got one Mutalisk in the orange. He's been doing a great job of just dancing around the units and turrets of Thorzain. Again, going back in to pick away at this wall. At the same time, he's getting his 4th base established up in that top left corner. And the Mutalisks are just bouncing back and forth everywhere. A Thor out now for Thorzain. Looks like he's going to chase those Mutalisks off, at least for a little bit. Oh, some big hits from the Thor and the Marines on those mutas, and Red's going to have to fly away.
And the mutas are headed back while the Marines and the one Thor sit there as the Marines get jacked up and good to go from the medevacs. And it looks like Thorzain is going to pull out an assault with 6 siege tanks covering the rear of this frontal assault. And here come the Zerglings, Banelings, and Mutalisks. It's an all-out brawl. The siege tanks are up, but it's a little bit too close for the Banelings. The Banelings run in. He micros his Marines back. The siege tanks take the brunt of the Baneling burst of terrible, terrible acid. And Thorzain's forces continue to move down and take out the 2 Zerglings that are too late to fly. 2 more go down. Just 3 units to take out. Siege tanks are in siege mode, and he puts some Marines in to start to wipe out the Overlords. And here come the Banelings. Oh, good microwave by Thorzain.